Alright, I'm back. I was just helping with some stuff out of the house. After this, I will probably never see you again, but I pray I will be fortunate enough to meet you and another you someday, somewhere. I should hope not. I don't want to fucking be on Rockinjima. Can I ask one last question? Go ahead. That featherine witch who appeared within the tale. Oh, what? That's you, right? It may be presumptuous to say it, but that was my intention. This might be a strange question, but, are you Featherine? Or is Featherine you? Well now, what might you be talking about? The mysterious woman was mysterious to the last. And so, the day of which I had no memories ended, and the following day I would take a boat to Nijiba. Right, okay. Oh, crap. Wrong button. Hang on. I'll probably never meet her again. But, however, that just means that I won't meet her. So some other me might meet her somewhere down the road. Just as I have reached several truths, they must also want to reach the truth. So basically, if there's any timeline where Ange is trying to seek the truth, then there might be like a metaphor of trying to find the person who the metaphor has the answers, and that's Featherine. So long, Featherine. If you ever write a decent story, please call me again. If I'm free, I might drop by. Alright, Okanogi, yep. That trip seemed pretty cool, and right now there's no need to run around. Sumadera Kasumi is searching for you like mad. According to our informants, she's already gotten a ride to Rockinjima. We'll bump into her there. So, just as planned, there will likely be just 5 or 6 people at most, and they'll probably be armed with nothing more than handguns. They're no match for you. Feel free to run wild, but make sure you kill them. Were you able to acquire one of your favorite toys? Of course. I'm surprised you managed to arrange for this in this country. Sumadera head family has already given the okay, but make sure you get out of Japan as soon as you're done. Don't forget to buy your cup ramen by the box in Narita before you fly out. I'll take care of this time. It's an easy job. Also, you do understand about that, right? That? Well, I'm not sure what you mean. Playing dumb, are we? Well, that's okay. Despite how you talk, you've never betrayed my expectations in the past. If you're clever about it, you won't even have to get your hands dirty. There should be plenty of ways to handle it. Oh shit, this little portable shrine of ours is important. But she's also a liability. This is for the sake of world peace as well, okay? So, watch and see how it goes. Hope those Sumadera black suits know how to shoot a gun right. What is it, sir? Don't tell me that after a few days of the run, you and Anji-chan have already hooked up. Ha! Me and that bratty little girl, please. That was a pretty long call. I was so tired of waiting that I left. Sorry about that. How was it for you, lady? Did you learn anything interesting? It was interesting. I've harvested all I need. Sounds cool. You know what this song reminds me of one of the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood openings? Luck, is it? When you can't decide what to do, or when it doesn't matter either way, it's not so bad to entrust your fate to a coin toss. I guess I'll try leaving it to luck too. Gotta admit, I'm a fan of that kind of thing. Great, my bodyguard just said he's gonna leave everything to luck. Wonderful. I had to leave for that phone call, so I totally missed the clincher. What happened after I left? Let's hear it. No, I'm not telling. That's a shame. That's it? Okay. Yeah, I decided to stream early for once because I felt like it. I feel like so we didn't really learn much from that at all. In fact, that was basically just the usual ending kind of thing. Yeah, no, tips don't unlock until once you do question mark, question mark, question mark. So that was just kind of the usual ending. So yeah, I guess at this point, then yes, the what's the word? The driving point factor for me to keep reading. I think yesterday I woke up in the middle of the night, saw you streaming, and you ended just when I logged on. Oh yeah, listen, I'm sorry. I do feel kind of bad that obviously I probably have a lot of people who watch who are also, like American or European or just basically anywhere, so that if I stream at night Australia time, it's kind of impossible for anybody else to come. I do feel bad, but also at the same time, like you know, everybody else streams at night because they can. I have to streaming in the middle of the day is, obviously annoying because if you want to do something else in the middle of the day, then like, you know, you don't have a choice because your daytime for the weekend your weekend daytimes, if you're Australian, your weekend daytimes have to be your streaming times, or else you're just not going to get a viewership. So for me, that's why I'm like, I can't do that consistently. I don't want to do that consistently. I want to actually have plans for the weekends. So, um, basically, yeah, it's just because I basically finished episode 6 and I know I only got these little bits to go. So I'm like, I'm gonna just do them now. I just feel like it. So yeah, anyway, as I was saying, the main driving point for the rest of the game, I guess, for this basically now is what? You don't have a life that doesn't revolve around streaming? The audacity. I know, right? Um, but yeah, so basically, yeah, so the driving point at this point is like it's interesting because yeah, basically Adler knows everything. Beatrice knows everything. Ange knows enough to be satisfied, really. So really the question is kind of like I guess really the question is why is the game going to continue? Like both literally and metaphorically because the purpose of the game, supposedly, according to Beatrice, according to what we've heard, the purpose of the game is to teach is for Beatrice to make Battler remember something. And Battler is remembered, Battler understands it all. Battler has magical powers because he understands it all now. So and his main rival, which was Erica, is gone. Like the only reason I guess we would continue is like if Bernie and Lambda have some reason to want to make this thing keep going, you know. So I guess that's my question now. Is there going to be a reason as to why is this question mark going to explain why we have two more episodes and not one more episode, basically? So I guess we'll see. Lambda, where are you? Okay, who is it? Is it Bernie or is it something else? Just having to say that felt like admitting defeat, and I didn't like it. Why is it that she's always so obnoxious and clingy when I don't need her, and then won't answer when I call her name? Where am I? Annoyed by the completely predictable ending I'd left at the cathedral. I'd planned on finding some terrace with a moonlight breeze to kill time on until the end of that farcical reception. It's true that I tried to find somewhere desolate so that I wouldn't have to look at people. But this is a bit ridiculous. I, the great Bern Castell, am lost? A miracle like that certainly wouldn't happen. Yes, miracles don't exist in this world. To create a miracle, you need an amount of time that can never be reached, a period that's no different from infinity. Like, right, as in, like, yeah, so you need the ability to, you know, do something through multiple infinite numbers of timeline, basically. So when something that appears to be a miracle happens in a shorter span of time than that, it's not a miracle, but the product of someone's design. In other words, the reason why I'm walking down this corridor is because someone's design has forced me here. Who? Who would have pulled such a complicated prank on me? It looks like you're quite the shy one, pulling me out to a desolate place like this. Then from the other end of the dark corridor, I heard a sound. It sounded as though some small animal, like a dog or a cat, was walking at a quick pace. No miracle could cause a dog or cat to be in a place like this. Such miracle would not be allowed. Since it isn't a miracle, that means I'm being guided in that direction. Very well. This might be some new theme to keep me entertained. If this is some new joke of Lambda's, I'll cover her whole body with honey using my tongue as a reward. Okay. And then I'll stick parasol chocolates in her eye and tell her to never do it again. The direction the noise had come from, it was not only dim, but shrouded in complete darkness. However, I could sense something in that darkness. There were two green glints, probably cat eyes. The eyes of a black cat that peered through the darkness. Are you the one who called me here? Or are you just a messenger? When I looked at my feet, I saw red cat footprints leading towards those cat eyes. The marks were unsettling, as though the cat had run through a pool of blood. When my eyes adjusted to the darkness, and even with the lack of light, I was vaguely able to make out these red footprints. They weren't actually glowing or anything, but they served perfectly well as a signpost leading me onwards. So it was telling me to follow. It's very funny that they are using the keys rattling sound effect as cat footprint sound effects. Something feels very strange. It's a feeling I haven't felt since I began calling myself the cruelest witch in the world. I can't quite remember what this feeling is. Still, if one as tired as boredom as me, it's surely more fun this way. Here? I pushed the door open slowly, but it was dark on the inside, just like the corridor. However, the air and slight change in the echoes made by the footsteps told me this was a room, not a corridor. Okay, yeah. Like, what is it? Are you going to get trapped in the room like Battler was, or some kind of revenge? That's my first thought, but that seems kind of boring. On the other side of what looks like a wooden screens. On the other side of some sort of wooden screen, under what looks like a small spotlight, there was that same black cat gobbling down some blood-stained pet food. So this is the reward for bringing me here. Cat, sorry to bother you during your meal, but I'd like to summon your master. You to summon your master? That is, unless you're actually the one who summoned me. Hmm. Come on, what's with this crazy reception? That was a mean thing to do, kicking it. The instant I heard that voice, the hairs at the back of my neck stood on end. Oh no, it's another witch even more powerful and evil than Berncastel. Then the surrounding area finally brightened. However, Berncastel had already guessed where this was before it grew bright. Oh, this is Featherine's place? Yeah. Okay. That was you, was it not? That cat. A cat who has learned how to eat meat, and that it can sometimes choose its own path. It has been a long time. It's a path I might never have to know about if you hadn't told me. You're the monster who taught me the taste of flesh. So if you come back to life, Featherine or Aurora, there's been a few typos at the end of this thing, and I don't know if that's intentional. Augustus, or maybe it is. Okay, no, you never learn, no matter how often I tell you that. Very well, even that brings back fun memories. I've heard the rumors. Seems you have taken the name Bern Castell, Witch of Miracles, and have been playing a far from praiseworthy fragment game. I'm just imitating you, though I could hardly match up to your level. If the rumors you've heard about me are bad, that applies 100-fold to you. What are you afraid of? I'm merely celebrating my reunion with my longest-serving Miko so far. Did you really find my messenger cat so displeasing? So are you telling me that Featherine is like the mastermind behind Higurashi? Did you really have to make such blunt insinuations against me? A cat leaving behind bloody footprints and stuffing its face with blood-stained meat? Have no fear. Look closely. Do you see any cat stuffing its face with me? Well, if she's the real Shikishi07 self-insert, then technically she did write Higurashi. You know what? That is a good point. I see you're as unpleasant as ever. I'm happy now. Imitating you really has been far from boring. It seems Beatrice's game has ended with Battler's victory. I observed it. It was quite entertaining. I'm sure you liked seeing me fail miserably. Although it's worth it, there is a character in Higurashi with similar horns to Featherine, very different personality though. Okay, well I think that those aren't supposed to be horns. That is, hang on. Where's Featherine? Oh, that's in this one. Yeah, the horseshoe-shaped object floating around her head is a memory aid device. It's not horns. It's a random half circle that floats around her head perpetually. Nonsense, it was a splendid performance. I'm sure Vito is very grateful to you. And if you want me to read the fragments of Vito's game aloud for you, I refuse. I'm not your Miko anymore. I observed all of Vito's games. I also watched Lambda Delta's game and Battler's game with great interest. I believe I have formed an answer for all the riddles in my own way. The culprit, the motive, the individual tricks. I'm not yet clear about the very last part of the epitaph's riddle, but I have enough of a theory that if I actually went to Rokujima and investigate, I'm sure I'd be able to resolve that part as well. And, of course, since there is no single truth, my theory is probably only one of many possibilities. However, that is only a question of possibilities, a trivial problem. What are you up to? Do you want to debate Vito's game with me? Wrong. What I want is to look at the answers, child of man. This is Higurashi, the answers arcs, after all. So far, you have spiced up this tale as an actor. In doing so, you will probably come to know many truths. However, even you are unaware of the truth behind several riddles that Vito has cleverly kept hidden, correct? I see. You want me to use me to chew apart and string out the guts of something again. After watching a play, reading a pamphlet, and learning behind what goes on behind the scenes is similar to, as you would say it, enjoying some black tea after a meal. I want to look at the answers. I'm sure you want to know them. Think of it as a burial for Vito's corpse where you are in charge of the service. What do you say to that, child of man? Now you're starting to speak my language. The game board and all the pieces are gathered here. The records for the previous games are all present as well. see. So you're short a player and a commentator. We're also short on black tea. Similarly with dried plums. Okay. I have one condition. I'm going to be the reader, okay? I have no love, so a few things might be interpreted in an odd way. However, the reader is feel free to read things in a manner and intonation of their choosing. I only want to check the answers. I don't particularly care about the tale itself. I'm not deeply interested in what little tale you'll create. Ah, yes. Now I see what you're after. Will you accept that condition? Very well. I want to know the answer. You have your grudge to worry about. The negotiations are concluded. Oh, cool! Wait, I've seen this before. This is... I acknowledge it. You may sit. You are the game master. What? Are you sure? Are you really sure? You can create whatever sort of tale you like to satisfy your grudge. I'm not interested. However, I have one condition as well. Answer all of the questions I ask. Absolutely no keeping secrets, hiding or dodging the issues. Leave it to me. Tearing up guts and dragging them out is my specialty. After all, you trained me. Let us make some black tea. We'll use our own hands, not magic. Let the master treat Umineko to some tea. Yep. With your fellow monsters. Oh shit, this has got a thing as well. How many songs are actually lyric songs? It is pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's hard because there are definitely some songs where it's like, okay, they're repeating this too much or they're using it too much. But like, where they hide the fact that some of these things have had vocals the entire time, and we just don't know that. That's a fun like reveal. In that case, let's get the pieces ready. To keep up the count, this will be game 7, right? Indeed. Fortuitous number. But not for Vita, right? First comes the placing of the pieces. By this point, the witch's game has already begun. Ren Castell took Vito's piece and raised it high. First move, placement. Beatrice on D8. When the seagulls cried, there were no survivors. Alright. So, what they're saying is, in the next episode, basically Featherine's like, okay, it's great, we've had some great stories here, and all the metaphors are all great, there's been some fun things. I still have questions, though. So, fuck it, Bern Castell, you just write whatever the shit you want. Just make sure to put some answers in there, which is certainly an interesting way of doing it. Makes it sound like it's going to be kind of gruesome and kind of sad and, difficult to read because Bernie is just like, I'm really pissed off. This didn't end up in the way I wanted, so I'm going to take it out on all the pieces, basically. All right, first of all, let's see the tips. What did we learn this time? Okay, that's all the same. We're done with heavily hinting, time to say it straight out. Okay, that's cool. Hang on. Okay, first of all, let's go to the tips. Spirit mirror. Okay, kept in the shrine, built on a rock in the waters near Rokkenjima to suppress the evil spirits of the Akuji Kishima. I learned how to pronounce that one. It's believed to possess great power which hold evil spirits at bay. This mirror is revered by the fishermen around the Nijima area, and several times each year, small ceremonies conducted jointly by the Ishimiya family and the Nijima Fishery Cooperative. In the past, Kinzo ordered that it be cleaned when the seasons change. However, it is unknown whether he did that out of respect for the occult of the Eastern world. Okay. The dual pistols, okay, yeah, emotions. If one of the bullets grazed any part of the body, the concept of target will be denied. Yep. Yep. Yeah, weapon is not popular among theater-going witches who are fan of good old Druid. Okay, it doesn't really tell us much at all. Anything here around here? Can we execute anything? No, we can't do that. This is all. I think this is all the same, right? Yeah, I think this is all the same. I think this is all. Yeah, I think this is all the same. Right. I kind of feel like so basically I kind of yeah. I don't think anything here is really new. Yeah. So this all seems kind of the same. So I guess the only thing to do then is to see what episode 7 says. Requiem of the Golden Wish. Good morning. Scheduled for today is the funeral of the Golden Wish in her game. Okay, days of the game are already over. Nothing remains but fun memories. Here, the cold hard truth will be revealed, and death will come to the game. There is a bit of difficulty this one. Okay. All right. Interesting. It's all. Okay. I'm not like, it's not giving me that much hope of like, like that much motivation, I guess. It's like, anything could happen, I guess. And you kind of just know that they're just making shit up at this point. So there will be some answers, I guess, in there somewhere, but as to what, who really knows? I think the biggest new bit in episode of info is the end of episode 6, where Battler and Beatrice say, actually, there are only 16 humans on Rokkenjima, ignoring Erica. Did they say 16 or 17? That was a mindfuck for me. I can't remember. I honestly, because you know what, I got completely complicated. I got really confused around that because, or at least I didn't really think about that because they started talking about 19 people when they were talking about the like 19 is the number of the witch or whatever. So I've completely forgotten how many people are supposed to be on Rock and Jimmer in the first place. I'll be completely honest. But okay. I mean, so I guess we are learning stuff. I'm like, yeah, I think for me the most interesting thing, the thing that seems to have the most, what seemed to explain some stuff the most is, yeah, basically that like everything about Beatrice up to including her appearance was basically decided because it's something that Battler would find attractive. Which once again does, make it then also seem that like, Beatrice. Oh, okay. The exact wording was something like, if we include you, then Erica, then it's only 17. Okay. Okay. I got, because then if we go back to tips. Okay, yeah. All right. Without him, the number of people go from 18 to 17. After working the guest known as Erica, the number returns to 18. Okay. Okay, interesting. That is, I didn't realize that. So thanks for letting me know. I guess that's kind of cool. Yeah, that would have like completely, what's the word? I guess that's one of the things that like maybe you do need to explain that in more detail because I didn't actually realize that because it was just a single line and it was kind of like we didn't really get a chance to elaborate on it any further. But yeah, okay. I guess so. Yeah, it's like obviously Beatrice isn't real. Beatrice is a representation of something. It's got something, still got something to do with Battler. We still don't really know about the whole what actually happened 19 years ago. What happened to the baby? If that's Battler, if that has anything to do with it. Um, and we still don't really know who is writing these stories and why they're writing these stories and what the Golden Land is. And yeah, I guess it's, like we kind of know that everything is a metaphor for something, but we don't necessarily know the full extent of the truth of what the metaphors are supposed to be for, which is exactly what Featherine is talking about. Just like, hey, yes, the metaphor interpretation is a very good theory and it explains everything, and you can clearly make satisfying stories with that, but it would be really helpful if we knew why this was all happening in the first place. So if you give us some more answers, that would be great. Okay. Yep, six. So there was six. He last went to the thing 6 years ago, and he said if he was like, I thought because they're saying that he's like 19 years old or he's 18. I don't know. Anyway, basically, yeah, we'll figure it out. I guess. I don't. I mean, at this point, obviously, obviously, I can't stop until I figure out everything. But like, I'm curious, I guess. I'm curious about how much vague bullshit there's going to be next episode, and how much of it's going to be actual truths. Because it seems like if it's up to Bernie, it would kind of just be lots of just torture porn, kind of for no reason other than just you know she wants revenge over everything that happened to her and Higurashi, pretty much. But I don't know how interesting that could be if they keep that up, but I mean, I'm gonna read it anyway, so yeah, it'll be interesting. I guess that's pretty much all of my thoughts at the moment. Episode 6 was alright, kind of ended a bit anticlimactically. No, not like it kind of got to the climax kind of suddenly, but you know, decent thing in Umineko. But like I liked the parts where Featherine was like kind of very literally going to Ange and like, yeah, okay, this is what this is just a metaphor. Don't worry about it. That was kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. That's probably enough Umineko for today. And if I maybe I'll come back tonight if I really want to start episode 7, but I'm not sure for sure. So yeah. Anyway, everyone, obviously as usual, thanks for coming with me, and I'll see you next time.